Hey folks, today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Valvoline, the original motor oil. That's right, Valvoline is America's very first motor oil brand. For 150 years, they've been innovating, creating, and reinventing motor oil. From the first high mileage to the first synthetic blend to the first racing oil, they've never stopped pursuing innovation to maximize engine life. Their latest innovation, Extended Protection Full Synthetic Motor Oil, provides 50% better wear protection than industry standards and is 10 times stronger against oil breakdown. Valvoline Extended Protection is specifically formulated with dual defense additive technology, which combines an innovative additive boosted with a fortified detergent system. You may not think that you're a severe driver, but short trips, towing, extreme temperatures, turbocharged engines, heavy loads, and spirited drives will all put extra pressure on your engine. Just listen to people like Chris Forsberg, Rob Dahm, Freddie, Tavares Hernandez, Speed Academy, Gears and Gasoline, Dustin Williams, and TJ Hunt, all trusting Valvoline in their cars. Valvoline is the only motor oil that has a dedicated engine lab where they can run specialized engine tests and standardized engine tests right in their own facility. They're also the #1 supplier of EV battery fluids globally, offering tailored products to help extend vehicle range and efficiency. Find Valvoline now at your local auto parts store. Ask for Extended Protection Full Synthetic by name. Also, I'm sure you've heard us talking about it, but please remember that when you're thinking about what should I watch on the TV tonight, that All Cars Go to Heaven 3 is now up in its entirety on our YouTube channel. We've heard that some folks weren't getting it in their subscription notifications. We've heard other folks have been waiting for all of the episodes to air so they could binge watch it. It's about 80 minutes total over all 4 episodes. They are really, really fun. We bought some truly disgusting, terrible used cars. We modified them in a fun way. We brought them to Texas and did a variety of really fun challenges. If this sounds familiar and you're saying that you guys just ripped off Top Gear, yeah, that's true. We kind of did. But that's okay, because all cheap car challenges kind of rip off Top Gear. And unlike Top Gear, it's got me and Zach in it. That's the thing. No script, just fun exercises with our cheap eBay Motors cars, and it's a really great series. We're very proud of it. It's the best thing we've ever made, I think. So All Cars Go to Heaven 3 is on our YouTube channel right now, youtube.com/thesmokingtire. Please check it out, and if you can, share it with your people. All right, on today's episode, we got Jesse Iwuji in studio. Jesse is a racing driver. He races in NASCAR. He's also a naval officer, and we spend quite a bit of time talking about his very, very interesting job driving warships, which is wild. He's an entrepreneur. He's an inspirational guy. He's got so many things going on. I don't know how he has time in the day. He's got an esports league, a trucking company, a whole motorsports program. This dude has really lived 7 lives in one. He's also, as will become very obvious, one of only 2 black NASCAR drivers racing right now. And he's just very inspirational dude. Really enjoyed our chat with him, and it's a great time, a great show. Jesse Iwuji on the Smoking Tire Podcast. One thing that I promote other car brands, that should be pretty easy, but you can still drive your own cars.
Yeah, still be able to drive it. Yeah.
Okay, and presumably if you are working with a brand, you get a demo. Obviously, right? Yeah. Otherwise, why would you?
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like Tiger Woods did it for the money. He wanted that Buick. Tiger Woods was like, I need an Encore. How good was Tiger Woods' crash for Genesis?
Oh my God!
I don't want to be cynical about it, but when it's upside down, the GV80 looks just like a Bentayga.
Oh yeah, no, it is crazy. It's any type of publicity like that can sometimes.
Nobody knew what a Genesis was, and then Tiger Woods went off a fucking cliff and won, and it was, hey,
how many times did he flip?
A few. Do you know where that happened? Do you know what that road is? I know where that road is. It is at. It was early in the morning. He was going to a tournament. It's downhill. It's off camber, and it's wide, and it is easy to go real. I mean, you're not going to roll there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to roll there. Zach's not going to roll there. But if you're Tiger,
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, oh gosh.
it would be very easy. It's down by Palos Verdes. It would be easy, even though the speed limit's probably 35 or 45 there. You're doing 75. It's just that big and wide, and it decreases and tightens. Yeah.
It probably got tight, and he just like turned it. I was like, this is not turning anymore.
Understeer, and there he goes.
Yep.
There he goes. Well, I mean, I'm glad that your personal cars are older, so I think they'd probably be exempt from the right.
For the rule. Well, let's see. One car is 30 years old, and then my C6 Z06 is, how old is that now? 15 years old now?
Yeah.
And then C7 Z06 is only a few years old.
Oh, you have a C7 Z06 also.
Yeah, I'm going to get a C8 Z06 too when that comes
should.
out. Oh, yeah.
It looks very dope.
And it's going to be amazing.
It's
flat plane
sick.
crank.
I've heard the videos. It's amazing. It sounds like a 458 basically.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because I've let's just say there in the development of that whole thing, I heard some rumors that there was some 458 motors over there at GM that they were looking at to kind of examine and all that stuff. And
you don't think they tore apart a 458? Of course they did.
Yeah. All the manufacturers do. They buy stuff from everyone, and they're like, hey, let's look at it. Let's see, what's good, what's not, and let's try to make it better.
Dude, I know for a fact that when Ford was developing the GT in 04, they took apart a 360 Ferrari and put it back together twice. Wow. Put about 15,000 miles on it, and then sold it, and no one knew what they had done.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Someone's driving that car around right now that Ford SVT took apart and put back together twice.
They see like a business card, like what the heck with Ford? This is
why is
lead engineer?
Roush. What? What is going on here? Yeah, no. You've driven a regular C8 before, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You drive a C8 for 5 minutes and you go, oh yeah, they took apart a 458.
Oh yeah,
because that feels like a 458 with a small block in it.
Oh yeah.
And they did a nice job too.
It's quick, super quick.
Yeah.
The first time I drove one, I was like, holy crap, this thing can get 0 to 60 like instantly.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's very good.
No drama, just boom.
Who are you like? I mean, you're obviously like a vet person, which you could still say now technically. But what got you into vets?
Well, let's see. Back in 2013, I had a Challenger SRT8, and this is before the Hellcats, right? So everyone who looks at my pictures online with my Challenger think, oh, that was a nice Hellcat. I'm like, y'all kids, look, there was stuff before Hellcats, all right?
Listen. I was like, I had a Subaru before they made the WRX, so
yeah. So I had this Challenger, and our goal was to build what the Hellcat is now. I'm pretty sure Dodge was looking at what we were doing because no one else was doing what we were doing. At that time, we had this multiple 1,000 horsepower Challengers, Chargers, all that stuff, all Kenny Bell supercharged, built motors, everything. And our whole goal was to go over 200 in the mile because every time people tried it at that time, they were blowing up. And I wanted to successfully do it without blowing up. So I built that car, and at first we were having little issues and stuff. I was having issues with the motor, blah, 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 this and that. So I was like, I need a more reliable car to daily drive instead of my 1,000 horsepower Challenger with a big 4.2 liter Kenny Bell supercharger on it.
Oh my God. Did it come out the hood?
Almost, but no. Still stock hood.
It fit under the stock hood?
It fit under the 4.2 liter.
That's an enormous.
Kenny Bell supercharger.
Yeah.
All you hear is.
That's like more displacement than the engine in your other car.
Yeah, that's.
It's more than the displacement of the engine in most cars.
Yeah, no, it is. It's crazy. It's more than a R32 GTR.
Yeah,
like
huge.
You stroke an R35 out to 4.2, and that's like huge. Like, oh gosh. So had that, and I was like, I need something more reliable. So I started looking online. I'm like, what's still fast, sporty, reliable, but I'm still like, I'm not gonna feel like I'm just in some slow whatever. And I started looking at C6 Z06s.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
like,
great.
I was like, this is a great vehicle all around. The trunk space, amazing. Actually gets good gas mileage.
It does.
7 liter, 505 horsepower.
6 gear.
Yeah. I mean, so 6 gear. I once did when it was bone stock. I did 429 miles on one tank. One tank.
That's good. Yeah.
17-gallon tank.
I had a C5 and it was it had heads and all kind of stuff on it, but it would do like 24 miles a gallon on the highway. It was awesome.
All day, yeah.
It was great.
So that's what led me towards getting a C6 Z06. And then I told myself, I'm not going to race it at all. I'm not going to do anything crazy with it. I'm just going to have it, just keep it bone stock and leave it like that. Well, I went to a road course track, watched my friend basically do a track day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, these track days are cool. Let me just throw my C6Z there. And next thing you know, it just spiraled from there. I was doing a bunch of track days, and that's what led me towards NASCAR.
To being a race car driver.
Exactly.
So what you did your first track day in what year?
September 2013.
That's like
Recently.
pretty rapid.
Recently.
Yeah.
Never been on a track before, or drag race
You
before
had
that.
never
but
been on a racetrack until 2013, and now 7 years. Well, what was your first year in NASCAR?
This is a crazy thing.
19? 18 was your first year in NASCAR?
No. So first time ever on a road course track on a track day was in the C6 Z06 in September of 2013. I suited up in my first late model stock car race at the lowest level of NASCAR in April of 2015.
That's short.
I raced on TV for the first time 6 months after that.
That's fucking so crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, now I wasn't great.
Not karting at 8 years old, not literally like 2 years from street car on a racetrack to race car on television.
And in
That's
between that time,
wild.
spent about 5-6 months in the Arabian Gulf on a warship, driving warships. So I wasn't even here the whole
You drive
time.
the boat?
I don't physically drive. I give the order of what to do.
You tell people to drive the
I'm
boat.
like, hey, turn here, turn there.
What was your rank or job? What's that called?
So it depends what service you're in. Some people say MOS. For us, it's what community we're in. So I was in the surface warfare community. So I was
badass.
yeah. So in the Navy, you have undersea, which is like the submarines. Then you have surface, which is on top of the water. We don't go under. We don't want to go under. And then you have air, aviation, air. You know, the folks who are flying, and they don't want to go in the water at all either.
Yeah.
So surface warfare. I've been a surface warfare officer since 2010. I'm still in now. I'm just a reservist, so I'm not active duty every single day anymore.
Right. Okay. But now this gets interesting now. So what type of ship are we talking about? Because I'm a boat guy. Love fucking boats. So what are we talking about here?
My first ship ever when I graduated from the Naval Academy was a Minesweeper. So a Minesweeper is a 224-foot long ship with about 80 people on board, and we hunt mines. That's literally what we do. We hunt, we sweep.
Like depth charge type mines? Is that what that means?
Those big
the
spike
big spiky
ones.
fucking
Yeah,
balls?
yeah,
like
yeah.
Stereotypical.
That yes, exactly.
People still use them shits?
Yeah, if you go into the Arabian Gulf, there's still mine danger areas where you do not drive a ship through because you could potentially hit a mine. It's a thing.
How many of them are leftover mines, and how many are placed in the last 5 years? Not that it matters. If you hit one, you hit one. But
So most of them are left over from World War II, World War I,
shit, really?
during
World
all
War
those
II.
older wars and stuff like that. If anyone's still putting them in right now, that is an act of war. So if someone does that, I feel sorry for them because that's it. They're getting taken out.
So and when you've obviously got sonar and all this crazy stuff. So you find one. What do you do?
So if you find a mine, basically, one, you're reporting it up the chain of command because that's all. It's all bad. You're having to now establish a mine danger, mine threat area, right? Now that you found one, and
that's
then
called
from
tactical screaming, right? You see that? You just,
hey, get away!
Hey,
I found one right here. No one come here. Once you do that, you got to mark it on your chart so that everyone else in the Navy and commercial ships, everyone knows around there, hey, like right here, we found a mine. We have identified it through either VID, visual, or we use sonar. We used whatever ways we do. We use dolphins to find these things too, by the way.
fuck out of here.
I'm dead serious. Dolphins. We use dolphins.
Really?
Yeah. EOD uses dolphins.
Trained dolphins?
Trained
Or
dolphins.
like wild dolphins?
Like,
well, I'm just saying, I'm saying when the
Come to
dolphins,
me, animal friend.
if the dolphins are just around them, do they behave different? So, I'm just saying, are you watching for dolphin behavior, or do you bring the dolphins with you? Like, what the fuck?
so
Sorry, that might seem like a stupid question.
no,
but
that's a great question.
where do we get these dolphins?
Follow the dolphin.
Yeah.
hey, grab a couple dolphins on the way out of town. We need some of these.
So EOD, right? Our explosive ordnance disposal unit. They have dolphins that they train, and they'll have special equipment that the dolphins have, and dolphins are trained to find where these mines are because
No
they're super
way.
smart.
Yeah.
And they'll go find them, and they'll put bomblets on them, and then from there we can blow them up. And,
No fucking way.
I'm pretty sure they're pretty good at not getting the dolphins blown up. The dolphins are pretty smart too. The funny thing is dolphins are still animals. So every once in a while they'll lose some of these dolphins for a short period of time because they go off and mate. And then
No way. And then they come back?
And they come back.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah, hard days of work. They just gotta go,
where, because I like to hunt every year with my dad. We hunt birds, quail and stuff. And you got retriever dogs. They're trained. So like this is the game over of retriever dogs. This is where the upper echelon of like they fucking sniff bombs and then they place a charge on the fucking thing.
Swim away and then we can boom set it off and knock out a mine. Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I never heard about. I gotta find a documentary on these dolphins.
Imagine the person that pitched that to the Navy the first time.
I got a badass idea.
Out of here.
That's crazy. Wow. And so, what's it like? How far does the ship have to be away when you set one of these guys off? Pretty far, right?
Yeah. If you're setting off, I can't remember what the exact distance are, but you want to for sure be at least 1,000, 500, 1,000 yards away.
Okay, a kilometer or something.
Yeah, you're not going to want to be near because you don't want any kind of shrapnel hitting the ship, hitting anybody. You don't know, and there could be other mines that you didn't even see, and it sets those things off. Just because like the seismic part of it, like because all different
50, 60, 70 years old.
Yeah, there's all different kind of mines. You have bottom mines, you have moored mines, you have floating mines, you have mines that detect some mines detect sound. So a mine might not even go off. If this particular ship goes over, it's like, that's not an aircraft carrier. Keep going. Oh, that sounds like an aircraft carrier.
Shit.
Boom. And they get technical. And they don't cost that much. $10,000, $20,000, and you can cause millions of dollars of damage and put a ship out of commission.
Yeah. That's intense.
Yeah.
How many of these things have you set off?
Luckily, we haven't had to do any ourselves.
Oh, never one.
Yeah, because we were good. We were able to make sure that everything was always clear, so we were good. But it's happening.
Well, I don't mean by accident. I mean like, so you call in the folks with the dolphins, and then they set them off, but you're gone by the time they show up.
We would have to do that, but we haven't had to do that.
You
recently.
never even called them in.
Not on my ship.
Oh wow. Okay. So mainly you're cruising around, listening for sonar and scanning or whatever, mining the equipment that's scanning. Mining is the wrong word.
We'll do a bunch of exercises and stuff. We'll go put out like fake ones and then like go train on finding them because we generally know where the threat areas are. And if we know that, hey, there's probably a group here, we'll just mark it off like, hey, just don't go here, instead of us trying to go, let's go set this one off. Because what if we missed a few and all of a sudden we get blown up?
Sure.
So if you know, hey, this is the area, we'll just stay away from there. Everyone marks it on the chart. Cool, we'll stay away from there.
Wow. Yeah. And so your job was to give the directional orders of where the people who physically drive the boat go.
Yeah. So as officer of the deck, that's one of my watch stations. And as officer of the deck, you basically run the ship as far as driving it from point A to point B. I'm giving all the commands on where to turn, what to do, what the speed should be. I'm managing our whole bridge team, the navigation team, combat information system, all that stuff.
Wow.
I'm managing all that at once while on my 3 to 5 hour watch.
That's like a very senior position, right?
Yes, you basically run the ship when you're on watch. You still have the captain of the ship.
There's a captain though still, right?
But it's just like in a business where you have an owner but a CEO. Like CEO's running the ship, but the owner still owns the whole thing. Wow. So that's a captain basically puts his trust in me saying, hey, during these hours of the day when you're on watch, I'm giving you everything. I know that you're going to basically take care of the ship and make sure we don't crash. Because if you crash, I'll lose my job, and it's not good for you either.
What about like in like when the boat is physically docking? Are you directing?
That's one of the toughest evolutions we do is pulling up to a pier and actually coming alongside and doing our sea and anchor. Is very dangerous because ships are different than cars. Cars, like if you're parking, your car doesn't continue to slide and move. Right. Whereas a ship, imagine this multi-million ton, I don't know how many million ton ship now or a million or 1,000, I can't remember, I don't know, pulling up next to a pier. The thing is still always moving around. Sure. You can't get it ever perfect. People are throwing lines over, trying to hook them on something so that the ship stays still. You don't want people falling over. You don't want people on the pier to grab it the wrong way and get pulled off. Yeah. You don't want to crash into, like if you hit the pier, if you're moving 2 knots towards the pier, which is like 2 miles per hour, that's a lot. You'll crush. Yeah, a lot of bad stuff will happen.
So do you have bow and stern thrusters, or are you doing one screw docking?
So on the Minesweeper, we had a bow thruster, and we have screws in the rear, which helps. So having a bow thruster. 2
screws in the rear.
Yeah, we had 2. I can't remember. Okay. Yeah, 2 or 4. I can't remember. I forget. I haven't been on my
screw is a propeller.
Yes, screw is a
propeller.
propeller.
And a bow thruster is a small propeller at the front that helps you push the bow one way or the other. Bow thruster
basically it gives thrust to move the front of the ship. Makes it easier.
It's very helpful.
On the bigger ship I was on, the Amphib, we didn't have a bow thruster. We only had our screws in the rear.
What?
So yeah,
and they're using tugboats or anything to dock?
Tugboats up forward. Okay. Yeah, because you're not parking it yourself. On a sim, I could park one without a tug.
Really? That's
I
G.
don't want to try it early.
No, it's like docking is stressful.
It's
like,
stressful.
I only do like boats up to 88 feet. That's the biggest I've ever done.
Yeah,
that's
a
still
pretty good size.
Yeah, it's stressful as shit.
Yeah. Now imagine
225 boat is big. It's a big boat.
Yeah, that Minesweeper. It's big compared to 80-something feet.
Yeah.
But in the Navy, our Minesweepers are tiny. That's a tiny ship. So when I was on the amphib, that was 609 feet long.
Oh my God, that's enormous.
I mean, just from the first deck all the way down to the water is at least, I don't even know, like 40, 50 feet.
Yeah, it's
you know.
huge.
So you're looking from way up there, like holy crap, that's a long ways down. This is a big ship, and we're moving towards this pier, like.
I follow a bunch of like yacht Instagrams and like the time lapses of these guys docking them in really tough situations, reversing into Monaco, you know, in like during Grand Prix week when it's just super dense and 400 footers everywhere.
Try not to hit anybody else's yacht.
Yeah, and they got the little guy. You could see him. They got a guy in like a little Zodiac that's just going back and forth, watching both sides. They got comms. You know, they can do it on all the new yachts you can do on a remote control, right?
Yeah.
So they just have a handheld with a joystick, and they're just walking around the ship with a radio, and they're just running back and forth, and they're doing it RC on a joystick.
Did you see that yacht crash this week on Qualified Captain? It was a huge boat.
Really?
And
do you follow the Qualified Captain on
No,
Instagram?
I need to follow. Yeah, I need to follow.
It's yacht failing. It's boat, but all boat fails. Launching them, crashing into shit. I got to see this video. The Qualified Captain is hands down my favorite Instagram channel. Yeah, follow right now. It's worth it to stop the show and follow this guy because it's just if you ever feel self-conscious about not being the best seamen out there, like, oh man, I didn't quite nail that dock. It wasn't quite perfect, dude. This shit'll make you feel a lot better. These people fuck up way worse than you will ever fuck up on a boat.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy.
Wasn't it up top, Zach? Wasn't it the one up top? Isn't it that like the big one there?
No, this one's funny because it's a boat that was left in Minnesota and the lake's starting to freeze, and they don't know how to get it out. I actually can't find. It was like a 400-foot mega yacht, and the captain said that something went wrong with the controls, and it just kept moving forward. So all he could do was steer it into like the softest part of the dock, and he ended up hitting like the wood and then concrete. And that's not very good.
That's not very good.
If you lose steering or have some type of propulsion casualty, things can happen. Yeah, that's like the worst thing. Like if you're pulling into port and all of a sudden you lose steering, And
when you were on, you were in the Middle East?
We went over to Arabian Gulf, 2 of my deployments. Yeah,
and but you boarded here, or the ship is kept over there?
On the Minesweeper, the ship was kept over there. They don't do that anymore. But on the amphib, we were here, and then we left out, and we head out.
So how long open ocean?
On the Minesweeper, the longest we'd ever be out was just a few weeks at a time, just because it's a smaller ship. You don't need to be out there for months on end. Not on that little ship.
And that's like what, diesel?
Diesel. Yep.
And the amphib is not nuclear, right?
No. The amphib is still diesel.
Also diesel?
Yeah. The nuclear stuff is the carriers.
That's only carriers are nuclear.
Carriers and submarines.
And the subs, right?
Not all subs, but most subs. Maybe all our subs.
Have you been on a sub?
I have not.
A deployed sub?
Don't plan on it.
No, you're not into that?
No, not my style. Being in a tin can under the water, nope.
It seems like mentally very challenging to not see outside at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Just stuck in a tin can underwater. You don't even know where you're going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that top secret. You don't know where you're going. They're not telling you where you're going. There's just only a couple people know. That's it. Yeah. You go out.
Because what's the difference? Well, if you're not the captain or physically steering, what's the difference?
It doesn't matter.
You are?
Yeah, they don't want to let the information out. We got things to go do.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
they don't tell you where you're going.
You just do your job every day. But
movies lie to you about that. It seems like the fucking crew on the sub knows where they're going in the movies. Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So does that? I mean, I see some parallels in between captaining ships and driving cars. Do you see them?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So when I used to be on the ship, when I was teaching some of the younger junior officer decks and our conning officers, how to drive the ship, I would always tell them, I was like, hey, I've learned this from my track days. I've learned slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So stop making all these corrections on the ship, doing this, doing that. Like, it will come to you. Just slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Nice.
And then when they started learning that, my junior officer decks and my conning officers on my watch team became the best ship drivers on the ship.
Oh,
by
that's
far.
awesome.
They call us the A team. And like every other team got so mad. All the watch teams were like, why are y'all the A team? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, because we're the best drivers on this ship. Like, we don't have any issues. The captain picks our team every single time for
awesome.
the big special evolutions. Not your team, not your team. We're
That's
the A
awesome.
team.
All these people should do. They got to do track days, right?
Yeah.
You got to get everybody doing track days, and then
Track days are key.
Yeah.
You learn life lessons.
you do. I mean, you know, hand-eye coordination, car
Yeah.
control, feel of,
Yeah.
you know, and with big boats, like everything happens so much slower that people don't, especially when people start driving, like when they go from little dinghies to like 40 or 50-foot boats, they don't realize like. Move, wait,
yeah. Do it early. You got to do it early. You got to think 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Because your move you make now is what's going to affect you in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that sounds like a pretty cool, you know, deployment to be in charge of that aspect of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. Learned a lot. People that I served on have gone off to do great things. My junior officer of the deck during my watches, he now has a multi-million-dollar company he owns. Like he actually taught me entrepreneurship, which helped me start my own businesses.
Cool.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of great people in the Navy. It's just been awesome serving and still serving now.
And what was it like living on the boat for longer periods of time, for a couple weeks at a time or longer?
Yeah, so being on a Minesweeper when it's a lot smaller, so I lived in 9-man berthing. Oof. So this room right here is bigger than our 9-man berthing. So imagine 9 grown men trying to live in something smaller than this.
This room's 11 by 17.
Yeah, we were smaller than this.
Yeah,
we had less space, everything.
3 double bunks? Is that what
3
you're talking about?
The 3 triple bunks.
3 triple
triple
bunks.
Yeah.
Oh shit. What bunk do you like?
I always slept on the bottom.
Bottom.
I don't want to be anywhere else because there, like, that's the thing I want to do is be in the middle, and then like some naked dude, like, you know, like I just wake up and I'm like, whoa, I don't want to see that
passing by.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. So
Drive faster.
I'll stay on the bottom.
No, that's a pretty intense, you know, living arrangement.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you can't bring much on the ship with you if you're living in such small quarters, right?
A suitcase at best, and maybe a sea bag if you're lucky, or just sea bag only. They want you to only bring a sea bag, but sea bag's not enough, especially, you know, it's 2021. We need more stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't bring that much.
So what do you do on your downtime when you're just chilling? Does chilling exist?
It does exist. You do have some downtime. So when I was on the Minesweeper, when we'd come back in port, I'd go work out on the base that they had there. You know, do what I could.
What about downtime on the boat?
On the boat while we're out at sea?
Yeah.
Not much. Maybe try to surf the internet if we got internet. You know, you don't always have internet that's working. So study, you know, because there's all these different qualifications that we have to get on the ship. So I'm always studying for that.
Oh, so you're doing classes and training and stuff when you're not actually doing your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Other training stuff on the ship to make sure that we know how to fight the ship. When we're out at sea, we don't have fire department. We don't have a hospital, ambulances, things like that. So whatever happens at sea, we have to be able to handle it.
Oh, true. Yeah. How often does shit go down on?
If you're on a good ship, not often. But if you're on a bad ship, all the time.
Yeah. And you know, 225 feet is, like we said, big by boat standards, small by ship standards. You know, is it a smooth experience? I mean, from a motion of the ocean perspective, or can it get pretty rough?
It can get pretty rough if you don't have a good driver up there, basically, you know, driving the ship properly. If you're going through the waves at a certain angle, then all of a sudden,
fucking brutal.
Yeah, but if you know what you're doing, then you can make it a little bit smoother.
Oh my God! How often does someone fuck up and take a wave sideways and just fucking
it happens.
rock?
The whole ship, your stomach just goes up and down, and everyone's puking at that point.
Oh my God!
Luckily, I don't get seasick. I was fortunate.
Oh my God! That guy's got a rough fucking rest of his day. I bet everyone knows who's fucking driving. This thing?
That's literally what happens. That's literally what happens. People. That's literally what happens. Like they start looking up, like who's driving this thing?
That's so funny.
That happens all the time.
How many is there a steering person and a throttle person still? Is it like old school like that?
Yeah. So you know, on a bridge team for a ship or for a Navy ship, typically you'll have someone on the steering. So that's your helmsman.
Yeah.
Then so we'll have
it's joysticks now, or it's not? Is it
no,
a wheel
no,
still?
we still have a
Still
wheel.
a wheel?
Yeah, we're old school.
Is it drive-by-wire? Or is it cable?
I have no clue.
Do you feel it when you turn the wheel?
Because it's not just like this. If you're making a turn, you're cranking that thing.
Oh, so that tells me that it's on a gear train and it's probably cable. When was that boat built, you think?
But actually both the ships that we're on were built in the mid '80s.
Definitely cable.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gear it. It's got because if you're spinning a whole bunch of times, it's
like,
turning the cable and a gear. Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
that's
boom, boom.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you got a helmsman on the wheel.
Helmsman on the wheel, then Lee helmsman on the engine. So he's controlling both sides. So for this side, he's moving that up. You can move the other one back so that can help you turn if you want.
Tank style.
Yep. So you got that, and then you have your navigation team, which could be 2 or 3 people. You have someone on radar, maybe multiple people on radar. You have your officer of the deck, your junior officer of the deck, and conning officer. And it depends on what ship you're on. There could be other people up there.
All right.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, 2 people to do the basic controlling of the ship once they're told where to go
Exactly.
and what to do.
They cannot turn or move the engines, throttles, or anything unless they are told by an officer.
Wow.
Or not even an officer, by a junior officer of the deck, conning officer, or officer of the deck.
Someone
or the
more
captain.
important than them.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Because they're pretty junior, pretty much.
Right. I mean, your whole job is to fucking move the lever where I tell you to move the lever. That's high and low level of responsibility.
Now,
Don't get creative now, John.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If you could see out the window, like if you're about to shit your pants and panic, and your instinct is to like throttle back or something, you got to be.
But if
not
it's rear
doing
engine,
that.
you got to stay in it.
Well, that's the thing. Like some of the junior folks, like they're still learning, they're still training. So sometimes you'll say left full rudder, and they'll go right.
What?
It happens. It happens.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it does. But if you're good, officer up there, junior officer deck or officer deck, you'll see it. You'll feel it. You'll immediately be like the
know
ship
your other left, son.
Like the ship. Go the other way. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It happens.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But still, mad respect. That is a cool gig with a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
And I imagine many good stories.
So many.
Do you dock in when you dock in I don't want to use the wrong word, but foreign countries?
Yes.
Is that an enjoyable experience for you?
I don't really like it that much because sometimes it's not as organized or have a pier that's even available for you. Sometimes you got to go, drop anchor somewhere, and it just every country is different. So then you're really having to study up on like what's the rules for this particular region, this country, how do they operate? Is there going to be a language barrier? Are they not going to be able to understand me well? Can I not understand it? Like all these different things. So I like parking in the U.S. Everywhere else is a little bit stressful.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But so you're doing all this. Meanwhile, you went from track day to professional racing.
Well, can I ask how? So you did some track days, and then the first stock car you got in, was it oval? Did you like buy a seat at a small track and you're like, I'm going to try this? Did you do a school first? How did that happen?
No school. Basically rented a ride. So I went from track days and how many track days did I have before my first stock car race? I did 1, 2, 3, probably maybe 8 or so track days before deciding to jump into a race car. Yeah.
Did someone at those track days was like, listen, man, you're very good at this and you should, or did you decide that you were good at it?
I had some friends that were pushing me saying, hey, Jesse, you're always doing track related stuff. Why don't you just try to become a professional driver? And I had multiple people who
that's not very many track days.
I know. So then I was, but for me, I just had the confidence in the world. I was like,
that's amazing.
And were the track days road courses, but then when you did the racing, it was oval, or was
oval?
it mix?
I went from road. So the story about how I got in what this is a crazy story that how I got into racing. So I got the Corvette in early 2013. Did my first track day in September 2013. 4 months later, in January 2014, I made the decision that I wanted to become a professional race car driver. I was sitting in my room one night. I had a whiteboard on my wall. I pulled it off, and I had goals and stuff on there, erased whatever goals I had, all these professional goals, and put, I want to become a professional race car driver. And that was literally the start of my journey. I had nowhere to go, didn't know what to do. I immediately started going to K1 speed, like every week, and just training on a go-kart. I started.
That's something all of you can do, by the way. Anyone can go to. That is like literally arrive and drive electric go-karting.
Exactly.
Like, go ahead.
So I started doing that and started working on figuring out, okay, how am I going to make this happen? 3 months later, once I was putting this focused energy, it's crazy how the universe starts putting people now in your path. So I met a guy, Kyle Wisner, at a car show event. I didn't even want to go to this event because my Challenger wasn't built yet. Like, it wasn't fit, or it was being rebuilt. And I didn't have my car to take there. So then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to this event. I'm going to try to network with people. Got there, met him because he was working the SRT experience, and they were giving people rides and stuff. And they had a bunch of extra tires in the back. I'm like, hey, what are y'all doing with those extra tires? I want them. I want to use them to practice drifting and stuff,
Yeah.
So then he was like, oh, no, we can't give those away. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I was like, yeah, I do track days and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. And then we parted ways. A few hours later, I went to the porta potties, and he happened to be in the one that I needed to use. And he comes out, and I see him again. I'm like, oh, yeah, I met you earlier. He's like, yeah, we did. And he's like, I was thinking, would you be interested in testing a stock car? I was like, whoa.
What?
I'm like, what the? Like, where'd that come from? I was like, does he know? Can he read my mind? That I want to be a pro driver? I'm like, sure. You like NASCAR stuff? He's like, yeah, like late models, like not like Cup Series, but late models. I'm like, yes, I'll take you up on an offer. He's like, okay, cool. It'll cost you $700. Meet me here 2 months from now in May at Irwindale Speedway.
Get the
you can
fuck outta
test,
here.
and then if you do well, maybe we can figure out a way to get you in a car.
That is like, that's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
And then I went and did it in May, and it went well. And I'm like, okay, I can halfway drive this car. Like, I'm halfway decent. I'm
Was
not
that
like,
your first time ever driving on slicks?
first time ever driving on real slicks? Yeah.
And Irwindale doesn't seem like a slow oval.
Oh, it's not slow.
No,
You're
whoa.
cooking it, even in a late model, you're cooking it into the corner.
Yeah.
So I get there, I do it, it goes well. They're like, man, dude, you did good. I know you're about to go on deployment, your second deployment or whatever, and you'll be back in 2015. If you want, you can race with us in 2015. And I was like, okay, that's great. Like, what do I need to bring? Just my equipment, all this stuff? You're like, yeah. All your driver gear and $5,000 a race. I was like, oh, fudge. I'm like, how am I going to get $5,000 a race? I'm a lieutenant at that time in the Navy. I make like $6-7 grand a month or whatever, but that's not enough to pay for a race every other week or so. So that's what got the entrepreneurship mindset going. And I was like, okay, what if I start my own business on the side so that I can make extra money? Because I was trying to like find sponsorship too, and that wasn't working. Sent out 1,000 emails and got 1,001 no's.
It's good that you even got no's.
Yeah.
Some people just get nothing.
Actually, let me backtrack. I probably sent out 1,000 emails and probably got 10 answers, and 10 of those were no's.
Okay,
so I just took all the other ones as no's too. Did that. So I was like, I'm going to start my own business. So I started hosting drag racing events. And since 2015, I've been putting these events on every single year. I just had one a couple weekends
cool.
ago.
So just like your own like arrive and drive drag race company.
I put on events. People, basically, it's called the Red List. So
That rules. Good idea.
Yeah. So what
You don't need any actual like resources beyond your brain. The tracks are there.
you just go rent it.
Just need to market
They have
it.
everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
What's it called? The Red List?
Yeah, look up.
Whoa, holy
This is Instagram. Look up
that
the Red
truck,
List.
yikes.
That's not my event, but the actually click on that red truck
with
right
the red
there.
the Red Lightning doing
That's
a
my
wheelie?
events right there.
Woo!
Yeah, these are all my events.
It's like all wheelie cars. Crazy.
Yeah, no, it's wild. If you click on Red
Wow.
List group, you'll actually see some more highlight videos.
Oh, let's go find them.
Yeah, Red
That's
List group.
awesome. Okay, so this is still ongoing then. This is it.
Still ongoing. I just had one. You'll see.
Is this a good business?
It makes money. It profits.
Yeah.
So it profited enough to sponsor my whole 2016 season and half of my 2017 season.
So you actually had on the car. It said
List.
Red List on the car.
I would have Red List somewhere on there, but I would put other companies. So other small businesses would give me $500, $1,000, this and that, and I'd put them all big to give them the props, even though I was paying for a majority of it. I'd be, if the races were costed 10 grand, I was spending like 8 of my own money and 2 grand from small business.
And then so a team was prepping the car for you.
Yes.
And so
I was renting a
were
ride.
basically arrive and driving, but partially, but involved in decorating the car with your own sponsors.
They would prepare the car. I could put whatever sponsors I wanted on there.
That's pretty
whatever
cool.
businesses.
How many other drivers were they doing this for at the time?
The team that I was with, they eventually were doing about 5 to 7 drivers a race.
Cool.
Yeah. So they had a bunch. So that's after I moved up from late models, I moved up to the NASCAR K&N series, which is the regional level series. Looks like the Cup cars, but they have a 600 horsepower motor instead of a 800 horsepower motor. And that is Red List. So if you click on that video with the Lambo right there.
Ooh, is that a little twin turbo guy there?
He is twin turbo. This is just some highlights from the last event we just had a couple weeks ago.
I like the Civic.
Yeah, that thing
I like
was quick.
that Civic.
It was an 8-second car.
I'm a Fox body fan, so we got some Fox bodies. We got some Camaros.
Some trucks, everything.
Yeah, good variety.
That's an
People, a
8-second
lot of people
Lambo.
with shoots, but no wheelie bars. Oh, well, I say that, and then there's a wheelie bar.
Oh, that's Famoso.
Yeah.
Is that where you normally run it, or do you
every
is it a
single
touring
event.
series? Oh, they're all Famoso.
6-second bikes.
Shoosh.
The bike guys are on another. They're on another level.
On the street tire. Miata with the crazy
That rules. Yeah, you got a good variety of cars. In this thing.
everything.
Trucks, caddies. Oh, is that a Datsun
Datsun with a
Z?
huge turbo
That
on
thing
it.
had a crazy big hood on it.
Yeah.
I like that they've gone beyond the mailbox hoods. Like the
Yeah.
old back in the day when I would
Yeah.
drag race, they had the mailbox hood. That was the worst.
Yeah.
I used to drag. I had a SN95 Mustang. I
Yeah,
used to drag
that's my
race
first
in
car.
high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
What year?
95. It was at 95. It was a V6, but 95 forest green Mustang.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had I had a 94 GT.
Yeah.
That I had my friends who got me into drag racing. They built me a 347 stroker motor.
Nice.
It was cool. It was
I wish I would've had
it was
that.
not
It was
that
good.
fast even after that, but it was cool. So
Sounded
okay,
good, probably.
so you do what a season of this K&N as well?
So
Same team? They bumped you up? Same team?
moved up to a different team. So
Okay.
ran late models in 2015, moved up to the NASCAR K&N series, which is a step above that. Started running regional series. Cost more.
It costs more. So
Yes.
is that really the only difference? I mean, obviously the cars go faster,
Yeah,
but like
the
from
competition, all
from
that
the
stuff.
arrive and drive perspective, it was your choice to move up.
Yes.
And it really just costs more.
It cost more. It cost me basically double.
Okay.
So
It's
moved
like
up
10
there.
G's a race.
I was spending about 10, and I was on a low budget team, 10 G's a race.
Yeah.
The big budget teams in my series were spending like 40 to 50 a race. Yeah, they were all the
Racing's
rich
expensive,
kids.
people.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids out there who their family, and nothing against them. It's just, they come for money. So
Sure.
mom and dad can write the check for $600,000 for the year. My mom and dad can't write a $600,000 check, so I had to go come up with the money to be on a low budget team. So
Yeah.
I haven't ever been in great equipment. I've just been kind of just strapping, just trying to make it work because I had to figure it out. I wasn't going to have anyone that helped me at that time.
And so the drag racing thing that afforded you the bump up?
That afforded me the bump
Oh,
up
that
right
rules.
there. Yeah, and then eventually I found sponsorship in I found some sponsorship each year, but I found the most I ever had, at least at that time, it was about like 75, 80K in 2017 through one of the first big brands that I worked with, and that helped cover like half a season. And the very next year I found a lot more sponsorship, and since then I haven't had to use the business money to sponsor myself.
Were you what brought on all this new sponsorship? Was it were you winning?
It came from marketing. So me being a marketable driver, because I wasn't winning at first, because I was on a lower budget team and still needed a ton of experience. So I was just doing my best just to finish in the middle of the pack, like a mid pack, or even if I got like a top 10, like 10th or something like that, that's like that's a win for us.
Yeah.
Big budget teams, a win for them is a real win.
So yeah.
Yeah, but for me, just a guy who was literally on a warship to basically be driving a real race car.
You're in the race.
And just being in the race
You're
was
in
a
the
win.
race, yeah.
So it was a grind, but we were getting sponsorship because of my story. I was a guy who was driving warships in the Middle East, got into racing. I'm still serving while doing it. I wasn't this guy who used to serve, and now I'm racing. I'm still serving.
Still doing it,
I was
yeah.
still going in. I was still doing all that stuff. So that story got into the media, and obviously when you get in the media a lot, there's companies want to put their name on you because they're like, hey, I want to be seen too. And that's how I started getting into sponsorship.
Was it traditional media or social media that really did it?
It was traditional because my social media following back then was actually a lot smaller. It's grown a lot more since.
Yeah.
But
follow Jesse on Instagram, by the way. It's just Jesse.
Yeah, follow
Jesse.
him.
It's just Jesse Iwuji.
Jesse
right?
Iwuji. Super easy.
There's no punctuation or anything.
Nothing
right?
crazy.
Underscore.
Well,
There's
underscore
Jesse
underscore. So you can
Iwuji,
separate
yeah.
it. Yeah. It makes it easy to find.
Yeah, make sure and the red list group with
Yes.
underscores, the drag racing thing.
For people who can't remember how to spell it, go on Google and type in Navy NASCAR driver.
There
That
you
should be
go.
the only one. Let's test it because I tell people this all the time and I don't even test this. Navy NASCAR driver on Google. Let's see what pops up.
Boom!
Boom! Right
Bro,
there.
fucking killing the front
Boom.
page. Look at that.
All over.
Killing the front page.
Okay, now type in black NASCAR driver because there's
Oh,
a couple of us.
shit.
There's a couple of us, but let's see who pops up first. It's probably gonna be Bubba
Who's got
Wallace.
the SEO? Bubba's gonna
It's
have
probably
it.
gonna
You
be
know
Bubba.
Bubba's gonna have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, scroll down. How far
I'm
down?
there. Look, Jesse, right there.
There you go.
You see right there, right under images of black NASCAR driver.
Oh yeah,
Jesse?
oh yeah, and on the images
Yeah.
you rank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bubba's got the one on. He's got it on lockdown, unfortunately.
Yeah, he does. He does. If you go to images though, I'll pop up pretty quick.
What is that? I mean, I don't want this to sound like this. I'm going to try to not say the wrong words with this question.
no wrong words.
How
I'm not, like, all
does being
sensitive.
a black NASCAR driver affect the experience of being a NASCAR driver?
It's definitely different for sure. It's not something I ever push because it's pretty obvious I'm black, right? So like I'm not having to be like, oh, I'm a black NASCAR driver. I say I'm a Navy NASCAR driver. I'm a service member because I want to represent all our service members out there. So I talk about that all the time. You'll never hear me talk about being I'll mention I'm one of a couple African American, but that's it.
There's not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot. It's
Not a
obvious.
lot.
Like,
yeah. Are you as a service member, or is there any kind of like requirement by the service that you say or do certain things or don't say? I mean, obviously you can't be a degenerate piece of shit.
Yeah,
but like, all the stuff you do, because your webpage has got a lot of references to serving and stuff like that, and you talk about it a lot. But is that purely because you want to?
Because of me, yeah. The Navy's not paying me to do it or anything like that. I'm serving because I want to serve. I wish they sponsored me.
Doesn't the Navy do some motorsports? Don't they have a drag racing
They used
program?
to sponsor Mark what's his face? Air Force?
So Air Force used to be Air Force is still in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Navy's not anymore. There was this thing about 10, 11 years ago where a bunch of services got in trouble because of their sponsorship in NASCAR, not because they were sponsoring NASCAR, but because they were just spending money and not tracking it.
Oh.
So it's like, hey, if you're going to spend money, at least have some type of
that's what the defense does.
Yeah, like show what you're doing with it. Like, okay,
Sounds
if you
pretty
spent
reasonable.
$10 million, like, what did you get for it?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I
that's
think
what
they
was happening.
sponsor the drone cam on FD this year.
Really?
I think Air Force does.
Air Force is really big on FD. So Air Force has done a really good job over the years of continuing to show how it's working. Like, hey, we get this many recruits and all that stuff. So I think if all the services would really kind of take after what they're doing, they could get more into motorsports. But it all depends on who the marketing arm is for each service. Some of them might just not like motorsports, so they don't want to be part of it.
Some of them might have older people who don't quite
Who don't get it. Yeah,
younger
yeah.
people. I mean, it definitely makes sense they're doing drone pilots.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's got to be who they're fucking targeting right now. Because like there's a connection, I imagine, between modern military equipment and video games, right? Doesn't some of it even use video game controllers?
Yes, there are multiple pieces of equipment that we have now that are unmanned that are using Xbox controllers, things like that. Like, and I'm not joking when I say legitimate.
No, they're real. I've seen photos.
Yeah,
it's actual Xbox controllers. It's crazy.
It is wild, and that's why all these services are actually starting up esports teams.
That makes a lot of sense.
You can get a job in the Army, Navy, or whatever as esports professional.
Can you work from home?
Yeah, some jobs you can.
Is that? I mean, look, say what you will about drone strikes, the et cetera, but I believe that unmanned flight is at least safer for our own people than manned flight in many circumstances.
Yeah.
But if you could do it from your couch, that would be some really next level serving.
So the only thing
you'll never see soldiers so out of shape.
I know, right?
The only thing that would preclude you from doing it from your house is because it's probably tapped into super top secret systems that you just can't bring home.
Hold on a minute, my Uber Eats is here.
Hey, my FiOS is down again. I couldn't do the mission, guys. I couldn't do the mission.
Oh my God, somebody's gonna figure it out.
I have to get the door. Amazon is here with the package. Hold on a minute, autopilot.
UPS just got to the door and their signature only. I gotta get there.
No, that's the fact that they're actually using Xbox. I mean, it makes sense. Like, why not use an input system that so many people are already familiar with?
I think someone accidentally stumbled across that. Like, if I remember how the story works, like someone just like, oh, let me try this, and all of a sudden it worked. They're like, whoa, we can actually use this.
Yeah,
I think I gotta look into it.
Of course you fucking can. Of course you can. It's
Microsoft
they
spent all the money developing it.
Yeah,
so it's like, all
outsource
right,
that
who's gonna
shit.
do better than that?
Yeah,
Well,
amazing.
A lot of stuff we do is all Microsoft based on. We don't use Apple and things like that. So I don't know what the deal is there. It might be just a security issue or whatever. I don't know. But
you briefly mentioned a ship simulator. What is that like?
Yeah, so a ship simulator is
it a whole bridge?
It's a whole bridge in a room in a huge, massive, like really expensive screen, and you drive a ship from the room and you train on how to park. And you can get seasick in the
I bet you can. Does it move?
The room doesn't move. But the screen, like, it's a kind of motion sickness. It's a motion sickness where you're standing in there and they can make it get all choppy, and you literally start. Like, I've literally started like leaning before. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wait, the room's not moving. Why am I moving?
It's wild. Are the graphics really good?
No, it's not that great. No.
A lot of those simulators, the graphics are not so great.
Yeah. And you know, they don't need to be great, you know, because for what?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours just started a side hustle training truck drivers and got a semi-truck simulator, and I'm going to go play with it in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited.
People are like, people have huge followings on social media with
For
these
doing the
semi-truck. The Sims. They just, because it's not that people are really enjoying what they're doing on the Sim, is they're enjoying the conversations that they're having. Like, so these people just get on Twitch and all that stuff, YouTube, Facebook, and they're just conversating with all their followers as they're driving the truck.
It's actually, you know what it is? It's like having a fucking CB radio in your car and listening to trucker chatter.
That's basically what it is.
I was stopped. So this morning, I went up to the canyons to film that black Lamborghini outside.
I think it's gorgeous.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty gnarly. And after I come down from the canyon, I'm sitting at a Denny's. Denny's is very consistent when it comes to breakfast. And I want a breakfast. So I'm sitting at the counter by myself. And this guy who is obviously a trucker comes in. This is mad truckers at this spot anyway.
Did he have a headset on?
He didn't bring it in with him.
Okay,
but
that's how you know it's a trucker.
But he was definitely dressed like a trucker.
Yeah.
And he sits down and talking to the waitress. Oh, you see that Lamborghini outside? And I kept my mouth shut. You see that Lamborghini outside? Yeah. Who's driving? I don't know. Guy's probably some suit, probably some asshole. Stuck up. And this guy basically looked like an even fatter, even sloppier version of me. And I after a while, I let this go on back and forth for a while, and I looked over and I go, you never know, he might look just like you.
He might look like a younger version of you.
And the guy goes, no, he's probably some suit. And I pulled out the key. And I was like, And he was like, oh, shit, dude. My bad. My bad. And I was like, it's okay. It's not mine. It's here's the thing I do. And I try to avoid the I'm a YouTuber conversation because of exactly what happened next, which is that this guy wants to make truck driving videos. This guy fucking
wants. I want to start my own YouTube.
Oh my God. And so I spent a half hour talking to this guy about the fantasy of making videos versus the reality. And like, yes, there's cool cars and it's great, but like, here's how you have to do your math and your time investment and blah, blah, blah. The guy ends up shadily buying my breakfast, actually. He whispered, and I saw what he was doing. He whispered, and he bought my bacon and eggs.
He's like, my load's playing pretty good this time. I got this.
It was nice. It was actually nice. Shout out to Ali, the truck driver, by the way.
I have a trucking company, by the way.
Do you also?
I own a truck company. I don't drive the trucks at all, but I own the trucking company. So
is this another? This is another way to pay for the next level up in racing.
I branched off from so I still do the events, obviously, but I wanted to become a bigger entrepreneur. So I decided to start a real estate investing company. I've started my trucking company, an esports company. I just put on an esports tournament last night.
It's only 24 hours in a day, bro. How do you have time to do all this?
I don't know. I just do. I honestly, all I do all day is just keep doing. And I figure the world would just reward me as time goes on.
It probably will, but wow. I mean, do you wake up at 4 and go to bed at midnight and work the whole time?
Go to bed around midnight, wake up usually about... I want to wake up at 7:30, but life doesn't let me wake up at that time. So typically I'm waking up by 6 something.
Wow, yeah. So real estate investing, that one doesn't require 100% of your attention, right? That moves slower.
It's way slower, which is very interesting because when I got into it, I was so high paced. I was like, oh my God, what's next? Like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's like 40 something days to close.
Long play.
Yeah,
long play. Now what does the trucking company do?
So we haul Amazon goods. That's mainly our big business right there. So we have right now as we speak, we got drivers on the road.
How many trucks are we talking about?
It depends how many drivers we have at the time. Drivers come and go. So right now we're a little bit light. We're running. I think we got 4 people right now.
And you own the trucks, or you lease the trucks?
Own.
You own the trucks.
Yeah.
And so they're big vans, basically.
Semis. Sleeper cabs. Yeah.
Oh, semis.
Yeah, semis. Yeah.
You're running multiple semis.
Yeah, semis. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you? What is your day-to-day involvement with that company?
Making sure that they're running their routes.
That's it.
Because all I got to do is make sure I'm assigning. I assign the stuff pretty much each week, but once I assign it, they have it. I just need to make sure they're running it. And if someone for some reason has an issue, I need to find some way to replace, switch things around so that we can complete the loads that person has.
All right, so there's real involvement in that company.
There is, yeah. And I mean, on good days, I don't have to do much. Just see, okay, who finished their loads today? Okay, cool, pay them. Who didn't? Okay, well, why didn't this person was supposed to finish?
And there's really
going
just
on.
software you need to monitor and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and I can do it from my phone. I can do it from a computer, all that stuff. So I can be anywhere.
Okay.
So,
And then what is the other company? There's another one, right?
so real estate investing, trucking, and esports.
Oh, so what's the esports company?
I put on sim racing events.
Oh, okay.
You could probably pull it up.
Our
on
friend
YouTube
Parker
right there.
Kligerman, who drives NASCAR, does that too.
Yes, we put on similar style events.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
like
What's
we're-
that called?
It's called E-Racing Association.
Okay.
We put on ones on iRacing. We put them on Gran Turismo, and we even do Mario Kart.
See, now we're talking. Now it
Yeah,
reminds me.
yeah, we wanted to branch
I'm actually
out.
better at real cars than I am at esports. I'm horrible at esports.
Esports is tough. Esports is tough.
So you're as the event organizer, are you also racing in them?
I don't. No. I'm in the broadcast. We broadcast these things.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
okay.
it's a legit like you're watching NASCAR. If you didn't have an eye for what a game looks like, you would think it's real life because how we broadcast it. We have people in the booth. We even have pit road reporters. Everything.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
participants in a race usually?
We once we get dwindled down to the main event, 40.
So there's qualifiers.
All that stuff. So we've had up to 600 people trying to qualify in for a
Wow.
race.
Is there
yeah.
prize money?
Yes. If you go back, see right there, if you click, or I don't know if you can click on the checks or not, but the biggest one we've
Oh,
given
I see
away.
7,500.
Yep. And then now it's all 4,000 for first place.
4,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for that. And then, is anyone from the esports league promising in a real car yet? Have we seen jumps yet?
You know what? There's a lot of, so that's the eventual step we're going to take. So the goal is, the reason why we had the Mario Kart thing going on was because we wanted to get,
January 29th, 2022.
that'll be our next
Cash
Mario Kart
prizes.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Is it charity?
So-
Viewers that donate to a kid, you can get prize. Okay.
So once we started with this, we decided that we wanted to donate money to a particular charity and then give away just kind of like shirts and hats and all that for the Mario Kart because it's kind of, most of it's kids.
That
you know.
rules.
Yeah. Now, once you get to Gran Turismo, it's straight up cash. Like we're giving you cash. When you get to iRacing, somebody last night won $4,000 that will be PayPal to them here in the next 20 or 48 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And did that start in 2020 when you couldn't do real racing?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, we moved to a model where we wanted to find something that was COVID proof, and esports is COVID proof.
That's cool.
Eventually, we'll do in-person stuff. So.
And do you have a good sim at your house?
I do. It's a pretty good rig. I have a track racer cockpit. I have Fanatec. Fanatec.
I don't know if it's Fanatec or Fanatic.
Yeah, it's
can we get-
Fanatec. It's
I think
Fanatec.
I'm pretty sure it's Fanatec, but
Yeah.
I've heard people say Fanatic also.
Fanatic because there's the apparel people.
Well, it's spelled
Fanatic.
the same.
Yeah.
Is it?
yeah.
Oh, no, it's not actually.
Fanatic is icy.
Is icy. Oh, yeah. So it's probably Fanatec.
That would be
Yeah.
a good play on words, but anytime I've said Fanatec, I haven't been corrected, even by sim nerds. So maybe.
Okay. All right. So I think it's Fanatec. Yeah.
Fanatec. Yeah. So
Is it
Fanatec-
motion?
It's not. No, I don't do the motion one.
That's big dollars. You need to start a
Yeah.
new business for that.
I'll eventually maybe. I just don't feel like spending $10,000-$15,000.
And you do screens or VR goggles?
VR all
You
day.
do?
Yeah, screens aren't realistic enough. VR is where it's at because then you're in the car.
The only reason
drift.
I ask is because you got motion sickness in the ship simulator. The goggles give me motion sickness.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. No, I'm good. No, I don't get motion. Oh, people can get motion sickness. I don't get motion sickness anywhere. And, like I can handle it all.
I can do like 20 minutes of drifting on a Seto with
Yeah.
goggles, and after that, I need like 15 minutes to like settle back down to earth because I definitely get headaches and motion sickness. Yeah.
So on Seto I can probably I usually go like 20 to 30 or so. And I don't stop because I'm like feeling weird. I stop more just because my eyes like being VR is like right there in your face, so you just kind of need to rest your eyes for a second. It's like a lot going on. But
Yeah.
I just get dizzy when I wear after 3-4 minutes with the VR goggles. I get dizzy. As hell.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it. I
Sucks.
love it.
That's
Yeah.
just. I mean, it's my problem, not their problem. I like the big wraparound screen. You mean
That's
the
the
wraparound
next
screen.
best thing. If you
Yeah.
can have like a good curved screen and you can have them then that's the next best thing.
Yeah. And how much do you in your experience does that sim racing contribute to your on track performance?
It helps out a ton.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these tracks I go to is my first time ever getting there, so I need to get that time on the sim before I get there, or else I'm just lost.
Yeah. What do you do in NASCAR? Do you like the road courses also?
I do. I love the road course. I would say I almost like them more than the ovals.
Would it make you want to go into like GT racing or sports car racing or anything like that instead of just sticking with NASCAR?
I'm definitely going to stick with NASCAR, but the end game eventually, once I retire from full-time NASCAR, I'm going to do just one-off like sports car races. I'll go race the big ones. I'll race like 24 hours of Daytona and Le Mans and all that stuff.
Yeah. Goals.
Yeah, and Long Beach, I want to do that. I for some reason that's like a dream of mine to go race Long Beach.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's an iconic race.
Yeah.
I got to drive the track in like an NSX just as like an experience, like a video thing. It's a neat track. It's very, it's faster than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, even in a fast street car, it's still a pretty fast track, and there is no room for error. The walls are right there.
And then imagine like having to be on edge there.
Yeah.
Like I mean, when they're on edge, I mean they are inches away from the wall, coming out like using all of the track and everything. I mean it's scary.
You get used to that in NASCAR though, being right up on the wall at full speed.
Yeah, but road course is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it's just different.
You're on and off and on and on.
Yeah.
You know, you're really loaded up when you're on that
exactly.
wall.
Like you're on the like going into the garden area or whatever. I mean that's hairy going into that because when you're cooking it into that area.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite track?
You know what? I think my new favorite road course would be Road America.
Road America's the shit.
Road America would be the
I have a
new
Road
one.
America track map at my house on the wall. It's awesome.
Beautiful track, and it's just the way it races. It's awesome. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park as well.
Have you been over to Europe and driven like Nürburgring or Spa yet?
Not yet, but I need to though.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think that would be fun.
Spa secret is better than Nürburgring.
Really?
I mean, it's not the Nürburgring, you know, in terms of its size and stuff, but it is the best tarmac you will ever drive on.
Smooth.
It's the most perfect tarmac you'll ever drive on, and it's just this beautiful flow that's really, I mean, except for that little tiny hairpin before the front straight, everywhere else is so fast. It's great.
Abu Dhabi.
I haven't been.
You will. If you go to that track, you will eat off the surface. That's how clean and perfect. I mean, I'm talking about.
That's anywhere in the UAE. The UAE is like the cleanest place ever.
I've been there and I drove some little Formula experience there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this place
nuts,
is amazing.
isn't it?
I loved it.
The UAE, we were driving down the street in Dubai. There's a marble street there. Like that's how you know it never rains because imagine
I know
marble street in the rain.
Imagine
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, what did you guys you just didn't even know what to do with this money, did you?
Like, we had all this extra marble. Someone's not using it to build their entire house. Let's just put it on the street. Let's just drive all over it.
I actually think I'm going to drive that circuit in February. I'm doing the Dubai Mille Miglia.
What's that?
Like the same as the one in Italy. Like it's like vintage cars, 1,000-mile road rally, and I'm air quoting because they basically just let you drive as fast as you want. They don't care.
Through the streets?
Yeah.
Like they shut down all the streets?
Yeah, but there's a section where you drive on the circuit. But yeah, they don't shut down the streets. They just don't care.
Oh, this is not like a...
No, it's like a gumball, but like in vintage cars. But
okay.
like
So
because you're in these vintage cars, they don't give a shit.
So the police will just,
Yeah, there's whatever.
They're like, oh yeah, I know I'm a Bugatti like police car, but yeah, it's okay.
Those are not real. I mean, they're real cars, but like
I got to visit their police department in
it's
Dubai,
hilarious.
and they talked. Basically, they said that it's just more for show,
Yeah.
just to like promote the police.
Yeah,
and
it's
get
for when the
people to-
media come around. And our friend lives in Dubai, and he says not only are those cars not real, you don't see real cops there ever.
Yeah.
It's all cameras.
Cameras, yes, cameras, yeah. So when I used to go there back in 2011 or 2012, it was a little bit different. They didn't have all the cameras, and all of a sudden I went there 3 years ago, and all of a sudden there's cameras everywhere, and I'm like, gosh dang it, you got a little bit less fun here.
Bad news is highly surveilled state. Good news is, it's an example that our friend who just came back to visit us gave us. Apparently, recently it was in the news there, a woman left some very expensive piece of jewelry in a cab, and they were able to recover it in like 5 hours, like by following the cab with the cameras, and no one got arrested. It wasn't like it got jacked or anything like that.
He just left it.
They were like, we know that you have this, and they're like, yep, I was gonna call you, and as soon as I was done with my shift,
They pull up to a stoplight, you hear some voice on the speaker, stop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he gets out showing the camera.
The future is now.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of questions from our fans, but man, your story rules.
It's an interesting story. I don't know. We haven't even. There's so much more to it. I mean, it's a wild story.
And we didn't even talk about your awesome R32 that you drove here.
R32
That thing
GT-R.
sounds beastie. It's got cams.
It's 262 Tomei cams, fully built motor, pistons, rods, everything.
What's that
Big old-
making?
676 to the wheels.
Single turbo or twins?
Single turbo, 8374 Borg Warner, about the size of my head. And I can drive in the rain like you saw.
Yeah, you did. It started raining right when you got down here.
I live 2 hours from here. I drove it all the way,
They're lovely cars, aren't they?
Yeah, you can do, like, I tell people all the time, they're like, you drive that every day? I'm like, yes, you can. It was meant to be driven every single day. Like, the motor's built and all that stuff, but it's not a race car motor. It's just a really nice.
As long as you don't go insane with the cams and you don't go insane with the 676 is a lot, but it's like
it's mild. No, it's
on the edge of where you could still use it as just a regular car.
Well, yeah, remember it's RB26, a 2.6, so there's like not much power until 4,000 RPM. So it drives like, put it this way, if you like that minivan down there, you'll beat me off the line if I don't launch it. If I don't launch it, you'll beat me off the line. Now, if I bring that 7,000 RPM, see ya.
There it is. Look at that. It's very nice.
Yeah, it is. That's an older picture because I don't have my GTR badge on the front right now, but on that picture. But scroll up a little bit. Actually, go to my R32 page. It's called the_R32 GTR.
You're really a fan of these underscores. You're really making those work for you. Now Google _black NASCAR driver and see what we get.
So
there you go.
She is.
Very, very panda. That's not panda. It's just it's the white. The white really looks good when you put the body kit on it and shit.
Yeah, so it's a Dulux body kit on there. We got Works wheels on there. Obviously single turbo, 8374 Borg Warner, RB26 built, fully built, cammed. E8 on E85, makes 676 to the wheels.
Was this like your Gran Turismo fantasy car, or did you?
It's my Fast and Furious. Even though you didn't see these in Fast and Furious, I've always wanted a Skyline GTR. And the R34s, I couldn't really bring them in, and blah, 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 whatever. So I was like, this is the next best thing. And this, to me, has a very R34 look to it.
Yeah. So I had a 32 for briefly. I loved it, and I'd like to get another one eventually.
Dude, they're great, dude. This thing, I drive it around, man. This thing gets more attention than any other vehicle I've ever owned in my life. It's
from
crazy.
Dudes, right?
From dudes. Dudes and some females know what it is. They're like,
really?
Yeah, they know what it is.
Maybe times have changed. When I had it was 100% dudes. Or maybe you're just a lot better looking.
My windows are tinted, so But no, people they recognize, they know, they see the Skyline, they see the GTR, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's the GTR. So.
For me, that car was like, I played it in Gran Turismo, and it was like, it was always so much better than everything. Yeah. And then I was like, how could it be in the video game? And then you drive and you go, oh shit, that wasn't an exaggeration. Yeah. It really actually is better than everything.
It is amazing.
Because I've had like every cool car of that time period.
Yeah.
Like I have an 86 Ferrari, I have an 88 Lamborghini, I had an 89 Mustang.
So do you think a stock for stock R32 GTR and a Countach?
I mean, it would be a real close race up to about 120 miles an hour.
Then the Countach.
The Countach would take it because the Countach has long gearing. It's like a 5-speed dog leg that's geared for like 180.
What about on a road course?
On a road course, the Skyline would house it.
Really?
House it.
We should find out.
Because the Countach is like technology from like the middle 70s that they kind of dragged on. Yeah.
So it looks... At
Cars and
crazy.
Coffee, though, I'll smoke you at Cars and Coffee. You have to pull. I'll pull up with the doors up, and it's game over.
Like,
No,
it depends what generation of people, though.
True.
Some of these kids, they'll look at the Countach and be like, okay, cool old Lamborghini.
True.
But then they look at oh my God, GTR.
That's true. That's definitely true.
So it all depends.
People who have never read an issue of Road and Track from 1988 but have seen all the Fast and Furious movies will know. Yeah.
I used to get all my information from Road and Track and all these other, magazines. When I was on my first deployment, when I was building my Challenger, I basically had this goal to be in, I think, Hot Rod Magazine or something. I was like, I'm going to be in Hot Rod Magazine. I'm going to have like the fastest Challenger, blah, 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 blah. And then I ended up making it.
You got it?
I got in.
Solid.
Yeah, did 200 in a mile and drove home.
Oh, you made it? You did make it to 200 in the mile.
I did. I drove 3 hours to the track, ran 199, 200, 199, and then drove 3 hours home with a big old 4.2.
It's really hard in a Challenger to go 200 miles an hour.
It's a big boat.
It's a brick.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's people who do these enormous power like S197 Mustangs and Camaro. They fucking never make it to 200.
Dude, 200 is difficult. People don't understand. I mean, even for a while, even like vets, people are having a difficult time getting. Well, they're having a difficult time doing 200 in half mile.
In half mile. In a full mile, yeah, you could do it.
Yeah,
that's pretty aerodynamic.
Yeah. But half mile is tough.
Yeah. But now we have many questions. Questions come from our Patreon. The only way to get in the game is to be a patron at patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. Join now. Of course, you also get our show live. You get an ad-free listening and viewing experience, and you don't have to wait till Tuesday or Thursday. You get the show the very same day we record it. So, the list. Jay just wanted to thank Mr. Iwuji for his service. And we've had National Guardsmen and Reservists helping in our hospital for the last 6 months. Saved our asses. Thank you. Second that. What is I mean, I assume Iwuji is Japanese, right?
No,
it's not. It just sounds. It sounds Japanese.
It does. No, it's Nigerian.
It's Nigerian. Oh, right. Well, that makes sense too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. I hope that's not insulting.
No. People ask me that all the time.
It does sound Japanese.
I love
like
Japanese food. I love Japanese cars.
Yeah.
I love Japanese culture.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right, cool. My bad. I apologize. Jake says, with NASCAR looking to increase its viewers and interactions with fans, could there be more done to promote diversity in the sport and get a younger generation interested in the sport?
Yes, there definitely is a lot more that can be done in the sport for sure, and I think NASCAR is doing that right now. Currently in the upper levels of NASCAR, there's only 2 African Americans, me and Bubba Wallace. There's one more coming up, I believe, next year, Raja Karuth. And really to, I guess, continue to promote diversity is really, we need to do better at creating ownership in NASCAR as far as like, instead of just drivers just coming up and just racing for all these teams and leaving, you don't leave a legacy. That's why this coming up year, I'm starting my own team with Emmitt Smith.
Oh, so cool. Emmitt Smith, the football player?
The NFL.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, Jesse Iwuji Motorsports is actually established now, but we're starting our own team next year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. If you go to
Jesse, Emmitt Iwuji Motorsports?
It's just Jesse Iwuji Motorsports right now.
Wow, how cool.
You can look it up on Instagram.
How does Emmitt Smith get involved in NASCAR? What, is he interested in NASCAR?
So one of his companies sponsored me in 2020, and that's how that conversation started. And then from there, it was just us, meeting other minds, being like, hey, let's come together and create something that we can give opportunity to people who would have never thought they would have the opportunity to be in motorsports.
Oh, that's cool. How amazing. Is that wild to work with Emmitt Smith?
Yeah, I was just on calls with them earlier today, and it's just crazy. Every time I get on call with them, when I brought him to my house or my parents' house in Texas, like my dad was like, oh my God, like Emmitt Smith is in my house.
Yeah,
that's
wild.
Awesome.
I met that dude at a charity golf tournament once. He was like Mr. T
golfing.
in real life.
Yeah.
He had like 8 fucking chains on. I was like, wow, that is every bit Emmitt Smith.
He was a badass.
Yeah, he was. That dude. That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. So you're gonna have your own team.
We're gonna have our own team. Yeah.
What level of racing will that be at?
NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Okay, so that's one down from the top.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's what we're going to do to help
that.
build diversity. Like if I can't go make every other team try to build diversity, but if I have my own team, I can build it myself. Hopefully others follow suit.
That's awesome. Jonathan K., does your training regimen as a football player still apply to race car training, or do you go to a race car specific training center?
So I wish there was race car specific training centers. So I can tell you
there
this.
are if you're a Formula One driver.
Yeah.
You probably get one.
Yeah.
Work out the
do you do
neck.
the tap thing? The thing where you have to tap all the shit?
I need to start doing that.
The Ken Block rally stuff where it's like
Yeah.
you're trying to take in information and then like react to things.
That's actually good training. I need to start doing that.
The helmet weights for the G-forces?
My neck's always been big from football, so I've been good on that.
Yeah.
But as far as training, so I still do sprints every day. I go work out. I put on a hoodie and long pants, whether it's 110 degrees outside, 115 or 50 degrees. I go do sprints every day. So I do 10 100-yard sprints. I do 200 abs. I do a boxing routine, and I lift. I do all that stuff every single day. That's basically what I do for working out. Now, as far as like the stresses and strains that go on in your body for racing, it's tough. In the race car, it's 120 to 150 degrees. So I lose a lot of water. I'll lose 6 to 7 pounds in one race.
Yeah.
More than my workouts. I can go do that same workout I told you. If it's 115 outside and I'll only lose 2 to 3 pounds max.
Yeah.
But in a race car, I'll lose like 6, 7.
Race cars are hot.
Very hot.
Very hot.
Very, very hot.
Yeah.
Like, it's death hot. I don't know how anyone hasn't, like, had a heat stroke yet.
Every time I've even gotten to try a race car, I've sweat more in a shorter period of time than any other activity I've ever done.
Now, being one that it's kind of sealed off and there's not much air coming in at all, and it's legitimately 140 degrees inside. I ran a Texas race in June.
You vented helmet though, right?
Yeah,
So you
we
can
have a little
breathe-
bit of air,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's ambient temperature air.
Oh, God.
So 98 degree air coming in feels like AC because it's so hot in the car. It literally
Whoa.
feels like AC. So I did that race. 2 days later, I remember it was 109 degrees where I lived, and I put on my hoodie, put on my pants, and went and worked out outside. Ran, and I remember I was like, I feel cool. I actually felt cool compared to the race I just ran.
Wow.
I'm like,
So
oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah. That's the hottest place you could ever be is inside of a race car.
Yeah,
in
people don't
summer.
understand. Like, it's not like a normal car.
Also, favorite street cars, dream car?
So favorite street cars, R32 GTR, Pagani, Zonda R.
Yeah, nutty.
Yeah. And then what are some of the favorite cars? Obviously Corvettes for sure, all of them. Man, I like a lot of cars. I like Supers too. I like NSXs. I like JDM stuff, like fast JDM stuff.
Cool. Fast stuff you can make faster.
Yeah. Never been a Honda guy though, unless it's a NSX.
Oh, that's fair. Honda, like a really well-sorted Honda,
I can
is really,
respect.
really fun. Have you ever driven like a great Civic? Someone get Jesse a great.
Somebody let me drive a great Civic.
A great Civic is because they have really good suspension geometries.
Yeah.
And like one that's got like a real hot rod NA motor and winds to like 8 and they're really, really fun.
I need to try
Super
one.
fun. They don't weigh anything.
They're
great.
super light. You can pick them up.
Kellen, your question is very wordy, but I'll take the second half. What advice does Jesse have about deploying effective what's DE&I?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay, there you go. That's a little corporate word speak there. What advice does Jesse have about deploying effective DE&I initiative in other forms of motorsport and more broadly in a business environment?
So what I like to say about the whole DE&I thing is, obviously you're trying to create, more diversity, more equity, more inclusion. I believe the best way that we're going to be able to do it is definitely not a short-term solution. It's a long-term solution, is creating incubators in whatever your industry is. And when I say incubators, a lot of people say this whole thing, well, I just want to go hire the best person, not just because they're black, white, Mexican, female, whatever. And that's great. Yes, you want to hire the best person, but the issue is the pool of people you're trying to hire from isn't as big as it could be because there's people outside of it who never got the opportunity to learn what was necessary to be potentially even have the opportunity to be in that pool.
That's the problem with that best candidate attitude is because it's like a lot of folks have been locked out of the training needed to become a viable candidate.
Exactly. So create an incubator.
Systematically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So create an incubator where you can give a lot of people opportunity to learn what's necessary. If they can't cut it in the learning process, then great. They never made it. They weren't ever made to make it. But at least if you create an incubator where people who maybe don't have all the right stuff yet, but if you put them in your system and then they are eager to learn and get better, then that's great. Just like me being a race car driver. Like I didn't grow out of the womb ready to be a race car driver. I just had the willingness to learn what was necessary and do what was necessary to get there. And guess what? I put myself in that position. I don't come from a trucking family or whatever. Like no one in my family drives semi-trucks, but I put myself in position because I was eager enough to learn what I need to learn so I could start a trucking company.
Yeah.
So all it really is somebody who's hungry. If you can find people who are hungry, you put them in your incubator, you teach them what they need to learn, and all of a sudden now you can really create that whole diversity, give people equity, give them, have this inclusive environment because you're giving a lot of people opportunity to learn what was necessary in your system so that you can grow them through.
There you go.
You're not just going to find the perfect person sitting out there. You know?
Yeah.
So
it's exactly. Especially if that person was locked out of the pool to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Good luck with this name, Matt.
Good luck with this name. Your initials are UC, and you're from Puerto Rico. I'm not even going to. Can you pronounce that name?
So Yurion Carrasquillo.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Jesse, since you're a Corvette owner, what are your thoughts on the new C8 Z06? Would you keep your C7 or trade up if you could? Well, you already said you're going to get the new one.
So definitely, I'm not a big proponent of buying and selling cars. If I buy it, typically I'm keeping it forever. So
Don't say that. You're a young man. Don't ever say the F word. Because that's going to bite you in the ass later. Eventually, you're going to get tired of something.
I want a collection like this.
This is a whole bunch of different people's cars.
I know.
That's not my cars.
I know, but one day I want all these.
I got up to like 7 at one point, and a couple of them I said the F word about, and then when I got rid of them, it was like, but you said, oh man.
So I want to, but then, you never know. I don't know. We'll see. But what was the question again? I'm like, again.
C8 Z06.
Yeah, C8 Z06. Amazing vehicle. I definitely want one. It's cool that it's going back to NA. It's a whole new thing. I just love everything about it. And it's a car that I'll finally keep stock for a bit.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Did you drive a C7 ZR1 ever?
I haven't.
They are gnarly.
I want to.
Yeah, it wants to jump out of its own tires. That car.
Yeah.
It with the hood you can't. The hood blocks like half the windshield.
You're like trying to drive like.
It's insane. They're going to be big money cars. Not many people bought them. They're going to be very valuable.
Right now, they're selling for $160.
Are they?
Yeah,
that's over MSRP. And
well
when you
over.
have a car with a comically enormous engine, and there's at the end of the run, people were waiting for the next one. They didn't sell very many.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones that did sell are automatic.
Yeah,
a C7Z with a stick is a long hold car for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy. Andrew likes your NASCAR commentary.
Yeah, I did stuff with NBC Sports.
There you go.
Yeah,
Dante Casali says, if you could have a U.S. track resurfaced in dirt for door-to-door racing, which would you pick?
A U.S. track resurfaced in dirt.
Like Dirt Oval, probably.
Road America.
Yeah, Dirt Oval.
Road America.
Road America would be fun.
Road America.
Yes, Road America for rally.
In dirt would be
Boom.
all. Imagine Road America as a rally stage.
Pastrana is listening right now.
Even
Very interested.
Sonoma dirt.
Sonoma and dirt.
All those hills and all that
The
stuff.
vineyards.
Turn 3 would be interesting. Over
Over
the
the blind crest?
Oh, yeah. That'd be super interesting.
3-4.
That'd be crazy.
Sonoma would be fun. I think Lime Rock would be fun in the dirt, too.
It would be.
Yeah. The downhill, just one big, long carry.
Just like sideways the whole time.
Oh, it'd be great. Noah says, would you team up? Who wouldn't fucking team up with Lewis Hamilton?
Definitely,
Noah?
yeah. He doesn't know me. I know him.
He just got knighted. You see that?
He did get knighted. He's Sir now.
Sir Lewis.
Yeah, you got to change that to Sir.
Yeah,
Sir Lewis
respect,
Hamilton.
bitch.
Yeah.
Sir Lewis Hamilton to you. Do you think he's going to make people call him Sir now? Who do you know that's been knighted actually goes by Sir?
I've never heard
Patrick
anyone
Stewart?
that's been knighted.
He doesn't
does he
himself,
say it?
but people do to him.
Oh, yeah.
People also say Sir to Paul McCartney.
But I think
Paul McCartney.
it's like doctor. Like if you write their name in anything, you're supposed to write Sir or Doctor.
Yeah.
But in conversation, the question is, does Paul McCartney go, no, it's Sir?
I watched the
Probably
video
not.
of him getting knighted. Prince Charles had a... Who is this again? Look on his face.
I bet Paul had the same thought.
Yeah, Lewis probably had the same exact thought. Dan Mosqueda says, "Is there a
How much do you do?
how much do you on duty? Is that a
How much?
is there a word missing there?
I feel like it was this.
How much do you do on duty? I'm a retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel and ended up doing way more.
I know what you're talking about.
What does that mean?
So basically, in the reserves now, you do a particular amount of days, right? So he's asking,
Oh, how many days do you do on duty?
yeah, like do I do just my bare minimum or do I do more? And I do exactly what the Navy wants me to do, and I don't do much more than that because one, the Navy usually funding starts becoming an issue where they're like, hey, you already did your time for this year. Don't do any more.
Clock out. You got to clock out at 6.
Funding becomes an issue.
Funding
Is
becomes
there overtime? Is there OT?
You can, but you got to request it, and it becomes a pain. And, I'm just
How many days does it end up being?
You do your 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year.
Oh, okay.
So how many days that is? I didn't.
And it's not. I presume it's not. That's not enough to deploy somewhere where it's done.
Your
it's
2
done
weeks,
locally,
you can,
right?
2 weeks you'll go. You can go different places. I've been to UAE and other spots. But, you can be mobilized, which is where you're gone for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, 10 months, a year.
What do you do on the weekend?
When we do our reserve weekends, we'll just do training and stuff, admin stuff, keep up with our medical, physical fitness, all the different kind of things. Just make sure that you're legally able to go fight.
Dustin says, can Jesse give a quick breakdown of the changes to the NASCAR car for 2022 and what you're looking forward to about them?
So the Gen 7 car is coming out for the Cup Series. I don't drive in Cup. So have I completely studied that car? No, but I do know some changes for it. They're going from the 4-speed dog box to the sequential transmission. It's
That's
be a
like the
5-speed.
biggest change.
One of the biggest changes. They're going to an IRS suspension
Oh,
now.
yeah.
That's huge. The motor is going to be a lot different. A little bit more electronics on the car. They're going to a single lug nut wheel instead of 5. It's an 18-inch wheel now versus a 15-inch wheel. Different tire now. It's a harder tire, I believe. The car is going to have a lot more aero on it. It's going to have more downforce. Just a lot of different changes. It's a complete different car. It's not anywhere near what Cup has ever had.
Way better brakes now, yeah, because
way
of the
bigger
wheels.
brakes, better brakes, everything. Yeah.
Our friend Bozy Tatarevich on Twitter has a fabulous ongoing breakdown.
Like
it's
part by
ongoing.
part.
Yeah, ongoing breakdown of
Yeah.
the. Do you know Bozy? You ever met Bozy?
No.
He rules. He's just like supreme nerd, and he works on one of the
Works for Lexus.
It's one of the teams that races the Lexus RCFs in IMSA.
The yellow and black.
The yellow
one?
and black ones. Yeah, he's a pit crew member for one of them, but he worked his way up, to that, and he's also done like buying and selling of cars and fixing of cars. He's like an amazing wrench,
Bozy.
and he's a Serbian refugee from the war.
Oh, wow.
From back in the 90s. Him and his brother. His story is insane of being a refugee.
Yeah.
But he's a great dude, and he really does these advanced kind of technological breakdowns of the cars. So definitely go give Bozy a follow on Twitter if you want to learn about
Follow him
the
right
new
now on
car.
Twitter.
Yeah, all you have to do is type in Bozy. He's the only one you get.
Yeah.
There's only one Bozy on Twitter. Was that all on the list, Zach?
That was it.
That was a great show, Jesse. Thank you for coming down.
Yeah, most definitely.
Fucking what an interesting story.
And it's been a blessing. I've had a lot of great support from a lot of great people. Definitely haven't done this myself, by myself at all. I mean, my agent has been awesome, Matt Casto, our new team, Emmett, Mike, everybody coming together for that. And just all the people in my past who've been helping me, and then sponsors and stuff who've been jumping on board. It's been fun.
Are you going to, if people from diverse backgrounds want to come work for your race team, what do they do?
So that's what we are working on doing. We're not there yet. There's a lot of other things we're putting together first, but we are going to develop programs where we can basically take folks who are coming out of the military, take folks from different diverse backgrounds, bring esports to kids and try to promote STEM through that. All these different things.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have
Where
all
is
these
that?
programs.
Where is it going to be based out of?
North Carolina, Charlotte.
Okay,
But
right,
we're
as is NASCAR.
Yes, but we're looking for ways to bring this stuff to people where they're at. So, because we race all over the country, so why not have a esports trailer that?
Well,
we
I
can
know
tow
somebody with a
places?
trucking company.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I know someone with a trucking company that could be involved in that. That's fucking cool, man. You got to give Jesse a follow, Jesse_IWUJI on Instagram.
Yeah.
His Instagram is very fun.
Yeah, a lot of cool cars, fun stuff. It's all positivity. I don't put anything negative on there.
I want to come to one of your drag races.
My next one will be April 9th.
Okay.
April 9th,
Let's try to go to that. I think that'll be fun.
I want to see some wheelies.
Yeah, and we can find maybe we can get a Turbo S or something from Porsche that'll be fun to bring to some drag.
something
It's
fun?
quarter mile or eighth mile?
Quarter
mile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eighth mile stinks.
Yeah. Sticky prep track.
Eighth mile's
fun.
no. I tried to do eighth mile. It stinks.
I do
It's
drifting
boring.
stuff too. If you scroll down a little
Yeah,
bit.
your Vet is a drift car, really, isn't it?
Click that. Yeah, the C6Z is my drift car.
Does it have? It has angle.
Yeah,
Where's
oh,
that? Is
yeah.
that where's
Adams.
Adams? That's
Yeah.
Adams.
I'll be there this
Oh,
weekend.
Are they doing? Is it Tuesday? What Tuesday night?
Drift
Thursday
nights
night?
on
Thursday.
Saturday nights.
Oh, they moved it to Saturday.
Yeah,
Good for them.
It used to be Thursday nights. I
Yeah.
think.
Troy Adams still out there?
Yeah. He don't show up to any of these, but yeah.
If you see him, he's an old pal. Tell him that Matt and Zach from the Smoking Tire said hi.
We filmed back there like 2010.
So we used to go to the
FRS.
fucking rent Adams like $500. It was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Dang, that's awesome.
You could do all kinds of silly shit out there. They don't
Yeah,
give
you
a
can.
fuck. They're nice people, and there's a really interesting culture of folks that shows up to that stuff.
Yes.
I kind of miss it actually.
It's fun. I
It's
go
fun. We should
anytime.
go hit up one of those for fun.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. That's our show. What's next, Zach?
We have Adam Ferrara next week.
Oh yeah, Adam Ferrara next week, and possibly another cruise show in between because we got to talk about
a lot of stuff.
all the other shit we've been driving. But Jesse, it was such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
man.
you.
You're impressive.
Thank you.
You're an impressive person. I'm glad we got to talk boats.
Yeah.
I'll nerd out.
Like pretty familiar, you know.
Dude, I'll nerd out on boat shit all day. All day, man.
That's cool.
And I want to hear that GTR again when you guys get out of here. So that's our show. Thank you to all our patrons and everybody involved in listening. Make sure, by the way, housekeeping, when you subscribe to us, you got to click the bell. We were just learning this. You know about the bell?
On YouTube?
On YouTube, you hit subscribe.
I'm recently learning a little bit more about it.
You got to hit subscribe, but that doesn't actually tell you when our stuff comes out. You then have to hit the bell to be notified. We've just learned that on our main channel, which has 1 million subscribers, only 31,000 out of 1 million have clicked the bell.
Wow.
That's like a really low percentage.
Yeah.
So
it's like 3%.
3%.
Yeah.
It's like not good.
Yeah. You need like at least 10, 15.
Yeah. Click the damn bell, people.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
help a brother out. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.